Today, we are going to make some grass. No, I'm not in Colorado, so it's not going to be that kind of grass. It's our techniques that are so simple and sensible, your mowers will practically build themselves. Hello folks, it's Mad Dog Merv, and this is 2020. I know I've been waiting a long time to say that. You'll hear it on the Kit Hoarder Stash again, so I'm really sorry. But now that I've done that, welcome to 2020, and welcome to the doghouse. Today, well, I wanted to go over one of the World of Tanks, you're welcome, that I really have enjoyed playing with. I enjoy building it, and I want to share that build with you. But before I do, since it is the new year, resolution time, everybody's got resolutions, I'm sure. I've got a list of things I resolved to do. I resolved to finish that that Pinto body that I painted up nice and orange. I resolved to finish Christine. I know, I've been working on that one for a while, and maybe even Dennis Gelder's Charger. I was going to work on that one. I resolved to bring you a 1968 Mustang Coupe in 1/25th scale this year. I know I need to make the master for it so I can get it resin cast and hopefully get that out to market through some friends of mine. We're going to try. I resolved to bring you my Starsky and Hutch build. That Torino has always been one of my favorite cars. I grew up in the era of watching that on TV all the time. Oh man, yeah. But I've got the car in 1/25th scale, built and painted. I just got to do the finishing on it. So we're going to bring you that this year, we hope. These are my resolutions, so let's hope I do them. That Waffenträger E100 from World of Tanks. I want to get that thing done. JS2 from World of Tanks. You know, I've done the M6 before, but now I want to do the T1, which is the Tier 5 tank, the T1E1. So I'm going to bring you that that particular one. And then another M6 derivative, the Mutant 6. What is it? M6A2 E, whatever it is. Anyway, from the game World of Tanks. Well, I've actually built a turret for that and put it on a T1 E1 chassis. So when that's all completely finished, we're going to do a show on that this upcoming year. And of course, we're going to try and get out with the Mustang. It's not real happy today. But we are going to try and get out with the Mustang and look at some of the great places here in the state of Utah. I want to go to Terrace, Utah. It's a little ghost town. Obviously, we're going to hit some more junkyards. I got to finish up. I never did get one put out for 2019, an update, because I just didn't get to all the places I wanted to. 2019 was a tough travel year with me for a lot of different reasons, but I want to get out on the road a little bit more this year, bring you some more adventures and some of the history of some of the area here in Utah, particularly railroad history. That's always fun. So anyway, those are my revolutions or resolutions, however you want to say it, for 2020 for the channel and for you folks. So without further ado, we're going to take a look now at one of the World of Tanks that that I have built in that series. Check it out. So here's today's subject. It's one of my favorite tanks. It's the T29, and it was based upon a lengthened version of the T26 E3 hull, so very similar to the Pershing hull, except for it had heavier armor and had an upgraded Ford GAC engine that produced about 770 horsepower. This tank featured a massive new turret incorporating the high-velocity 105mm T5 gun. The tank weighed in at approximately 60 tons. It was proposed on March 1st of 1945 that 1,200 of these be built, but of course that was revised downward and downward. In August of 1945, the order was canceled entirely, as it was intended to procure 10 T29s for post-war testing. The number was later reduced to 8 in July of 1947. As I said earlier, this is one of my favorite tanks to play with. It's a Tier 7. and the hitting power of it, the armor, everything I love about this tank, but the look in particular. So here it is in the T29 E3 configuration. Now, I have the trumpeter, just plain T29 kit. I haven't quite built that one yet, but this T29 E3 by, I believe it's Tacom. Yeah, Tacom that made this. And the kit, it's like $65, $70. So fairly expensive, but very nice. And you can see here, yeah, this is a good looking tank. And it's got the blast bag on the turret, or the non-blast bag on the gun, depending on which one you want to build. But well, I love those ears. They call them the ears, but the rangefinders on each side. So I went ahead and built this thing up just like I did my World of Tanks, the one I have in World of Tanks. You can see here I gave it the I can't remember which camouflage this is now, but it's one of the desert camouflages from World of Tanks. It has the kind of a medium brown and the sand tan color over the olive drab with the orange border stripes on it. And I built this thing pretty much from the box. Didn't make any real additions to it, just added a few sandbags and some stowage. I did put a name on the side of it, just like I have in the game. I named this tank Finito Hirohito. Just kind of thought it would be fun. It does have a yellow recognition panel that I've put on the back end there, and I gave it a little bit of a rusty muffler look with some of that Mars red that I have in my pigments. Anyway, this is how it turned out with the washing and the dry brushing. You can see the wash, the black wash that I used, and the panel lines, how they really pop on this particular kit. Again, you can see why I wanted to own this, because, well, it's just like the one in the game. I absolutely love playing with this thing. Now, developed at the same time as the T29 was the T30. And the T30 heavy tank was virtually identical, but was it mounted 155 millimeter T7 gun. There was also another variant, the T34, and this particular kit by Tacom covers both. You can do one or the other. So, of course, I had to have two because, well, I wanted a T30 and I wanted a T34. The T34 mounts the 120 millimeter gun. But you can see my example here, the 120 millimeter gun wasn't formed properly on this particular one. So that just made it, well, I guess I'm going to build the T30 first. So here is the gun and the blast bag on the matlet for the T30. This is how it comes out of the kit. Very nice. It's a two-piece barrel, but I got to tell you, it fits very, very well. This whole kit I highly recommend. Good fitting kit, absolutely beautiful. I can't say enough good things about it. Anyway, this was actually the first one I built before the T29, and I decided to name it Next Stop Tokyo. Kind of a 1945, 1946 version, if we would have invaded the Japanese homeland type of thing. So here I have a couple of GIs that are feeding, actually they're Marines, feeding a stray dog on the turret of the tank. It's kind of a fun thing. This again is one of those camo schemes from out of World of Tanks. I can't remember which one it is for the life of me, but anyway, if you play the game, you play the T29, you'll recognize this particular color scheme, and all it is some desert sand lines painted over the olive drab. And you can see the muffler on this thing is a whole different shaped muffler. It looks like a car muffler on the back of that thing. Anyway, then there's the T34. Now the T34, you can see the length of that gun. That 120 millimeter thing is just huge. And it was actually developed a little bit later, a few years after the T29 and the T30. And I thought, what better way to display it than to paint it up as if it had gone to Korea. And you know those really cool tiger camouflages that we did in, well, not camouflages, but those tiger paint schemes that we did in Korea. Well, I decided to go ahead and try my hand at it. So this is completely free-handed with the 120 millimeter barrel. Again, really like the way this looks with that particular paint scheme. As you can see, neither the T30 or the T34 have the elephant ears on the side. That was just the T29 E3 version. But again, for being fantasy, I really like how this thing turned out. However, this is not one of the paint schemes from World of Tanks. It should be, but it's not. Anyway, hope you enjoyed looking at this, and Happy New Year to everybody. And stay tuned, because there's going to be lots more World of Tanks coming up this year. Thanks for watching.